Welcome to the Human 5.0 Project, the podcast where we cut straight to the breakthroughs that matter, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Most people jump in and jump out before they get the gold, so we're keeping it tight and delivering the essential insights you need without the fluff. If you've taken the time to hit play, we'll make sure you walk away with valuable knowledge that can transform your approach to longevity, health optimization, and beyond. Hey legends, welcome back to the Human 5.0 Project. I'm Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and today we are breaking open one of the most important neuroscience discoveries of the decade. What if anxiety, OCD, and even compulsive behaviors weren't just chemical imbalances? What if they weren't psychological weakness, trauma, or bad wiring at all? What if they were caused by a malfunction in the immune cells of your brain? In 2025, a landmark study from Nobel laureate Mario Capecchi's lab showed exactly that, identifying a specific population of immune cells whose failure can directly cause anxiety and compulsive behavior. This changes everything. The study, published in Molecular Psychiatry, focused on a special population of microglia, the immune cells of the brain. For decades, microglia were thought to be janitors, cleanup crews removing debris, but Capecchi's team discovered something revolutionary. They identified a subtype of microglia marked by the gene HOXB8. This acts as a regulatory brake on emotional and behavioral circuits. In mouse models, when HOXB8 microglia were removed, mice developed severe anxiety and compulsive overgrooming. When healthy HOXB8 microglia were transplanted back, the symptoms reversed. When normal microglia were replaced with dysfunctional ones, pathology appeared. This wasn't correlation, this was causation. Microglia aren't passive cleaners, they're active regulators of neural circuits. Think of neurons as musicians and microglia as the conductor. When the conductor fails, signals amplify instead of dampen. Stress responses stay on, and emotional circuits loop endlessly. Good microglia, the ones in neuroprotective states, promote brain health, repair, and homeostasis. Their functions: phagocytosis, clearing debris, dead cells, misfolded proteins, such as amyloid and Alzheimer's, and pathogens. Synaptic pruning, they refine neural circuits during development and learning, release neurotropic factors like BDNF, NGF, etc., supporting neuron survival and growth. There's anti-inflammatory signaling. They resolve inflammation, protect neurons. They maintain the blood-brain barrier and tissue repair. The classic label for these is often M2. The modern view is that disease-associated microglia, or DAM, or homeostatic states, for instance, HOXB8 positive microglia, they act as brakes on anxiety, OCD behaviors, as noted in the study. When dominant, you have a healthy brain, early response to injury and infection, and a resolution phase. Examples in development, wound healing, or mild stress, they would be essential for neuroplasticity and recovery. And then there's the bad microglia in the neurotoxic states. They drive damage when chronically activated or dysregulated. Their function would be excessive pro-inflammatory cytokines such as TNF-alpha, IL-1B, or IL-6. They release reactive oxygen and nitrogen species, or ROS-RNS, which leads to oxidative stress. Over-pruning synapses, which leads to circuit loss, amplifying inflammation, which can lead to bystander neuronal death. And their classic label would be M1, or classical activation style. Our modern view is that these are primed senescent microglia in aging or hyperactive states in disease. For instance, non-HOXB8 microglia, they would be accelerators for anxiety. When dominant, they can be seen in chronic diseases such as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or MS, in aging, repeated injury, neuroinflammation, etc. An example would be that they contribute to plaque buildup, tau spreading, dopamine neuron loss, or long COVID fog. So that's just a little quick primer on M1 versus M2 microglia. Now back to the study relevance. So HOXB8 positive microglia act as brakes on threat and compulsive behavior. You lose those brakes and the system spirals. Importantly, this lineage of microglia originates early in embryonic development, meaning it's not a learned problem, but a biological one. And this helps explain why anxiety and OCD can feel involuntary, irrational, and resistant to therapy. Human studies show parallel findings: elevated neuroinflammation and anxiety, OCD and PTSD, altered microglial gene expression in postmortem brains, neuroimaging showing hyperactive threat circuits. And this reframes psychiatric illness from a chemical imbalance to a neuroimmune dysregulation. And that changes everything. If microglia are the issue, then targeting neurotransmitters alone, like SSRIs and SNRIs, will never fully solve the problem. We need therapies to restore immune balance in the brain. And this research opens the door to an entirely new class of treatments: microglia modulating therapies, CSF1R inhibitors. They can reset microglial populations. Minocycline, which is an anti-inflammatory, and it can microglia calm. NLRP3 inhibitors, which would block inflammatory signaling. In precision neuroimmune medicine, targeted peptides influence microglial behavior. There's immune metabolic interventions and microbiome brain axis modulation. Future directions would be engineered microglia replacement, gene editing approaches, like we mentioned in a previous podcast about CRISPR, personalized immune profiling for mental health treatment, and we are moving from symptom suppression to a systems-level repair. So if you've struggled with chronic anxiety, OCD tendencies, emotional overreactivity, stress intolerance, treatment-resistant symptoms, this research says it's not weakness, but biology. And biology can be corrected. The future of mental health won't be just therapy or pills, it would be precision immunology for the brain. While we await advanced therapies targeting microglia, there are proactive steps that can be taken right now to support a healthy brain immune environment. First, anti-inflammatory diet, omega-3 fatty acids. Foods rich in omega-3s like fatty fish, salmon or mackerel, flax seeds, and walnuts, they'll help reduce the inflammation. Antioxidant-rich foods such as berries, leafy greens, and nuts provide antioxidants that protect against oxidative stress, which can harm microglia. Polyphenols such as green tea, turmeric, and dark chocolate contain compounds that modulate immune responses and reduce inflammation. Second, gut-brain axis probiotics and prebiotics. A healthy gut microbiome can influence microglial activity. So fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, and kimchi support gut health. Fiber-rich diet, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains feed beneficial gut bacteria, promoting a balanced gut-brain communication. Third would be stress management. Mindfulness and meditation. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, yoga, and deep breathing help reduce stress hormones, which in turn can mitigate neuroinflammation. Regular physical activity. Of course, exercise is one of the most effective ways to regulate immune response in the brain. Activities like just simple walking or cycling, and of course, my favorite, strength training, can boost overall brain health. Fourth would be sleep hygiene. Quality sleep. Of course, adequate restful sleep is crucial for microglial maintenance and repair. You want to aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. You want a consistent routine. Keeping a regular sleep schedule and creating a calming bedtime routine helps regulate circadian rhythms, and it'll support brain immune health. Fifth, environmental factors. Reduce toxins. Minimize exposure to environmental toxins such as heavy metals, pesticides, and air pollution, which can exacerbate microglial dysfunction. Mindful living. Limit exposure to chronic stressors and adopt a balanced lifestyle that nurtures both mind and body. This discovery reframes how we think about the brain, not as a static machine, but as a living immune ecosystem, one that can be repaired, one that can heal, and one that, with the right tools, can be restored to balance. And these lifestyle adjustments not only support microglial health, but also contribute to overall brain wellness, potentially reducing anxiety and compulsive behaviors in the long run. By combining these practices with emerging therapies, we pave the way for a healthier, more resilient brain. This is just the beginning. Microglia are the missing link between inflammation, mental health, and longevity. If you want to understand the future of mental wellness, this is it. Stay curious, stay critical, stay human, and as always, stay unbreakable. Thanks for listening to the Human Upgrade Project. If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10x